Hello, Internet, and welcome back after a long pause to Elegant Suffering, the Good Society tale of Toncham upon West Forthpeg. Good to see all these wonderful faces. We got the whole gang. We have an Alex back. Yay! We have an LB returning to guest. Yay! So excited. Good to see everyone. Good to see you in chat. Hello, if you're here with us live. If you're on VOD, hello. Thank you for joining us as well. You're important too. Tonight we are playing Good Society. It is a collaborative storytelling game. It has tokens and snogging and intrigue and a murder mystery. But we'll get to that in a little bit. For right now, let's do a couple announcements. We're here on GGK basically every day of the week except for Mondays and Wednesdays. Is that about right? I think so. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. You should check it out. You know, we do lots of fun things aside from this. The next time we will be on will be tomorrow, Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern for Neon Souls, a game of The Sprawl. Sean runs that, and lots of us are in it. It's fun. It's great. So come check that out as well if you want a dark, well, kind of silly too, let's be perfectly honest, cyberpunk game. It's pretty dope. Check it out. Let's go ahead and let's get back into our Jane Austen moment here, though, and go around and introduce everybody who's playing tonight. Tell us who you are, who you're playing, what the heck they want, and where we can find you. Let's go ahead and start with Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean the Crank King on Twitter and everywhere else. I am playing Raleigh Addison, the hedonist, and fuckboy. And let's see, what's my desire? Restore your reputation and be forgiven by your former friend, who in this case would be RG's character, Raleigh's cousin.
Where else can we find you, Sean?
Oh, yeah, you can find me here. Every day that we're live here, I'm here. Specifically, like 2 announcements for this next week. One, Saturday nights, later time this week. We'll do a tweet, but it's going to be at 7 o'clock Eastern time. It's going to be our new time going forward. A couple of other schedule changes. We'll talk about those on Saturday. And on Tuesday next week, I'm going to be running a very special one-shot in place of Eos. We're going to be playing Overarms, which is a new game that is finishing up its Kickstarter right now, created by Corey Burns. Awesome person. Just talked to him yesterday. It's a great game, kind of JoJo's Persona 5. It's going to be really fun. Or Persona, not Persona. The JoJo's Persona, Fate, all that stuff. It's going to be super fun. Come watch us at 7 on Tuesday.
Dope. Awesome. Thank you, Sean. Savvy.
Hello. I'm Savvy as Savvy Seaworth on Twitter. I'm also here basically every time this channel is live. It's a lot of days. You can also find me on a couple of other days on Friday afternoons, so tomorrow and then for the next 2 weeks after that, at 3 o'clock Eastern time before Neon Souls on twitch.tv/encounter roleplay. I run an apocalypse world game over there called Diesel Punks, and it's getting rowdy, so come hang out with us there. And then on Monday nights, when this channel is dark, at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, I'm on twitch.tv/Cobalt Press, playing a Cleric of the Moon in a game called Lessons in Deep Magic. We're using Cobalt Press's new Deep Magic supplement for D&D 5e. It's a really cool book, and you know, check it out. But today, I am playing the most honorable, sometimes, Countess Rosamund Spice. She is the heir, and her desire has been the same since the beginning, to marry her secret fiancé, Theo. It's not really a secret anymore, I don't think, to most people, but she's gonna keep pretending like it is.
Oh yeah, no, because that is, you know, according to propriety, the right thing to do, as a society does. Yes. Speaking of the man of the hour, RJ.
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, but tonight I'll be playing Theophilus Wilmont, the Dependent. His desire is to convince your parent to accept you as their legitimate heir and declare your relations to all of the world, and also marry his secret fiancée, the Countess Rosamund Spice. Like the general friend group knows, that's what counts.
Yeah.
You can catch me on my Twitter at rjustice282, where I tweet whenever I game or am in a game.
Excellente. Alex.
Hello, I am Alex, OMG it's some guy on all the things. Tonight I will be playing Mr. Grover Shelton, whose desire is to bolster his love interest's reputation and then win his parents' permission to marry them. We may be getting into some of that soon. May depend on the how certain events in the near future go down. But currently the established relationship is that the Countess is Grover's patron because he is a painter.
I like it. And last but not least, our wonderful guest and returning LB.
Hello, I'm playing Colonel Annabelle Breyer tonight. She is a careerist in new money, and her desire is to orchestrate at least one marriage between people of your choosing, which she is on the way to doing. Her relationship is she's a business partner of the Marquis, who is the Countess's father. Yeah.
Where are you on the internet, LB?
Oh, where am I on the internet? Everywhere,
yeah, where are
bro.
you on the internet?
Just check my Twitter, LB Hack 'em Up, and the Twitch. Normally I do Thursday Night Terrors, but tomorrow Laura and I will be doing Thursday Night Terrors on Friday. So spooky stuff tomorrow.
Friday Night Frights, branding.
No.
Meow.
Consistency, RJ.
Consistency is the key to branding. Yes. Wonderful. Oh, hey, Ren. It's chat. Hi. And I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters at GreekSid. I'm here a couple nights a week, but tonight I will be facilitating, so I'll be literally everyone else that they run into. It'll be fun. And I do see in chat we do have you can check out the wiki for this game. We do have it. Alex did so much lovely work on it. Please contribute to it because there's a lot of stuff that happens. A lot of stuff. So yes, throw in anything you would like. We would appreciate it. We do also have some store items available for anyone in the chat, so you can throw a token someone's way. You can have someone do a little mini monologue, see what's going on in their heads. So please feel free to cash in those as well. It'll be fun, like a game. Speaking of a game, we haven't played this one in a little bit, so I think we need a little bit of a refresher as to what the heck is happening in Toncham, because it's a lot. So why don't we jump into that? So, the road so far, as they say. Toncham has a lot of very interesting, complicated, and very attractive people in it. Most notably, at the moment, we have the Countess, who, again, is not so secretly engaged to the lovely Mr. Theo Wilmont. They have a little bit of work to do to get that understanding up and going for her father, the Marquis. But in the meantime, she has, they have both, in fact, cooked up a little bit of a scheme with the Colonel Annabelle Breyer, new into town, to pretend to have the two of them court while Annabelle facilitates a little bit of, some secret meetings between the Countess and her true paramour, Theo. In the meantime, Annabelle has a little bit of a paramour herself from Mr. Grover Shelton, the established artist in residence here in Toncham, but not being necessarily wise to the ways of love. Grover has made a couple of missteps with another young lady in town, a Miss Aurora Keating, who, the the Colonel's not about that, it seems. So that might come into play at some point. Speaking of Aurora, quite an outrageous character in town. Probably the best friend of Mr. O'Reilly Addison, who, yes, being our resident hedonist, likes to throw a wild party or two, but it seems he maybe, possibly, have met his match in another colonel who's just arrived in town, a Mr. Colonel George Angus. We're excited to see where all of that is going. However, brewing deep within, a plot thickens to have Mr. Hammer, Raleigh's uncle, and Theo's true father, murdered for the inheritance by the evil machinations of his steward, Mr. Benjamin Collingwood, and the resident psychic actress, witch, the nefarious Madame Dupont. I think that's it. Did I get it all? Is there anything else that we...
Don't forget about everyone's favorite detective, Mildred Addison, who's on the case.
Yes! Mildred Addison, Raleigh's mother, is on the case. She suspects that something nefarious is going on here. And actually, I believe last we left off, I think our plotters realize that she's on their tail and plan to take care of her. But we'll get into that, I believe. For right now, we're at the beginning of a cycle of play. Again, for anyone joining us who's never heard, seen, or talked about Good Society before, again, collaborative storytelling game. There are no dice. We are writing a Jane Austen novel together. There are story tokens, resolve tokens that our players can earn and spend to make changes within the narrative of our story. Right now we are in a novel chapter. It's a visitation chapter. We're finishing it up from last time. I believe that we did have a lads' night that wanted to be arranged between Mr. Wilmot and Mr. Shelton, if I'm not mistaken.
Speaking of tokens, before you guys get to that, Mecca has gifted a token in the chat to the facilitator who works so very hard.
Oh, wait, thank you,
That's
Mecca.
good.
That's so nice. Oh my goodness. I will use it, believe me. Thank you.
Retroactively, could I have extended the invitation to Riley and Colonel Angus?
Yeah, absolutely. Raleigh?
Oh, I suppose.
Well, I'm all for it. Are you gonna fight again?
Me? No. By all means, no. I'll watch you fight, if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. What was...
See where the night goes, then. Where is it?
There was a code. I forgot the code. What was the code? We'll figure it out. Absolutely. They will join
marmalade? Something like that.
It's like a pint or... something. Or
Like a pint of sherry.
That's
right?
what... That was the one? That was the one.
There we go.
Yes. Let's, do you think Mr. Watts, still, hurting from that last one?
Probably. I do hope I can convince Theo to fight again, though not as much as he did last time. Let's watch his drinking.
Oh, yes. Well, again, we're here to have a good time. Just maybe not as good of a time as he established last time. Yeah, maybe we should just get there and make sure everything's going well.
Fair enough. I'll go get ready.
You're not... Oh, Lord.
No.
2
I'm not
hours
wearing
later.
this.
Eventually, Theo and Grover, you're waiting around. You grab yourself something to drink, something to eat. Take a seat. Take it in a table in the corner, and eventually, Raleigh and George join you.
I'm just trying to think. It's probably more entertaining for Grover to get caught up once the others have joined them. But I'm imagining that Grover was actually like out of town during the events of last session.
Sure.
And so he needs
He
to be filled in on what happened.
He went into town to
Mhm.
London to, refresh some of his artistic supplies. Canvases. Those are tough. Those are tough to find.
Yeah. There's just like a carriage full of canvases arriving at the Countess's manor to go into his studio there. But
Do I sign for these? No.
As long as he's doing well.
That's all she
It
cares
reflects
about.
well on her, so go ahead.
True dat.
I like the idea that Riley and Colonel Angus arrived too, and so Rose caught me in the closet on top of Miss Cooper. I was only trying to help her get something from the top shelf, and it kind of wobbled, and it bonked me on the head, and
Wobbled. Yeah. That's a good one, too.
Are we still on this again? Or you're still denying that anything happened?
nothing happened.
Right.
As long as your lady love believes it, that's really all that matters, so.
That is true.
I can confess, I am a man of many vices, but infidelity is not one of them.
Really? Many? The only ones I've seen are having your face beaten in like a piece of meat and the occasional overdrinking. Are there others?
Yes, do tell us.
She'll take a long sip of his ale.
no, I thought I had screwed up with my lady woes, but I think this one takes the cake.
No, I think you're in deeper shit than I am, friend.
What'd you do? And to
Um,
who?
Well,
Oh, did I not tell you?
I'm surprised Colonel Briar didn't tell you about it, but she and I may have patched things up at the moment, and I think I've come to realize that Miss Keating, water under the bridge for her.
What in the bloody hell did you do, Danny? He looks visibly colder.
At the event where we met, I had invited Colonel Briar, as well as another old flame of mine. Well, not old, but past flame. And I simply wasn't thinking. I honestly don't know what I was thinking, but it bit me in the rear. But as I said, I believe Colonel Briar and I have settled our accounts on that matter.
I wouldn't describe Miss Keating as an old flame. She's more of like a conflagration.
Annie is quite capable of taking care of herself, but let me just say this. If you ever confused like that again, not really sure what decision to make the right one. Are we clear?
I believe so. How old is Colonel Angus?
About 25.
Okay, because there is Grover's just a baby. You gotta remember that.
Baby.
So I think he's just like, yes, sir.
Good.
Pats the colonel on the back and just says, "Don't give him too hard of a time. We've all made mistakes when we were young and, well,
Well, fair.
younger."
I just, I worry about his, if he's looking at anything but Annie, but to each their own. Anyway.
Ale, wine, pint of sherry.
Orders a pint of sherry.
You see Mr. Watts in the corner go, "Oh, what? What I hear? Pint of what?"
This one, he would like a pint of sherry.
Walks on over, kind of stares at George up and down. You sure? Oh, is it? Oh, that's. Yes, sir. I'm quite sure. I would like a pint of sherry, and he throws down a couple shillings for it. A little bit extra on top too. This is yeah.
Be
All
careful
right,
with-
huh?
Be careful with this one, Mr. Watts. He's a bit deceptive.
Oh. Well, it's not me. Any other takers? Takers? Pine sherry, anyone? And, get a little bit of talk here and there, and you see in the corner, the town blacksmith. Who's the town blacksmith?
Harriet.
Harriet. Ms. Harriet. I mean, Smith makes sense. Let's be perfectly honest.
Alright, cool.
I was gonna say hammer, but we already have one of those.
We got a
Yeah.
hammer.
Miss
Yeah.
Harriet, the Hammer Smith.
That's good.
He's with Miles Hammer.
Amazing. Harriet the Hammersmith. You see her in the corner with a couple of her friends. You know, she's having a pint with like the haberdasher or something. I don't know. She sort of waves over. All right, yes, I'll definitely have a pint of sherry. And George is like, oh, I don't know. That doesn't seem right. I mean, and she sort of stands up, and George goes, oh, all right. Yes.
Good luck, old chap.
Good luck, old chap.
Right. Harriet, was it? He stands up, just sort of showing bravado. It's like, okay, I can do this.
Watch out for her left.
Do you all descend to?
Oh, I have to see this.
Same.
All right, the group heads off to the fighting pit. Yeah, I mean, narratively, does George get his ass kicked, or
I'll spend a token for him to get his ass kicked, please.
Absolutely. Oh, gladly. George, take a token as a treat. Handily, Harriet whoops him. She is definitely a varsity member of the underground fighting pit. She's been around the block, and she knows what's what, and definitely sees her advantage when she can. Swoops his feet out from under him, and but she's nice about it. She doesn't go for the knockout, but she definitely just full force of her very muscular body just pull right on top to pin him, and you hear a all right, yep, all right, Harry, I can see why they call you the hammer. Yep, oh. And, you hear a big cheer of, it's Harriet is declared the winner. She's very nice. She helps him up, gets him his walking stick. He, sort of rubbing his backside, moseys his way back over to the rest of you. I deserve that. I don't know what for, but it was probably something. All right.
It wasn't apparent. That's a lass who works with her arms.
Oh, no, I can definitely tell that. Harriet's definitely one you want to be on the good side for.
Got a quick chat redemption for you.
Oh, yes.
It's a mini monologue for George.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just ow.
I was about to say, in this particular moment, oh my god, oh, just don't let them know. Oh, just be as cool as you can. All right. They don't need to know that you want to cry right now, but it's okay. All right. Just keep it together, and we'll see what other shenanigans we can get up to. I don't know. Maybe Rolly and I can. No. Get to know his friends. It's only fair. All right. I need a drink. Oh boy. But they seem nice, if not the most intelligent chaps in the world, as they seem to get into the wrong types of shenanigans sometimes. But yeah, good lads overall. You could do worse, I suppose. That drink. Here, how's that? Yeah? A little stream of consciousness for you for George? Yeah.
Trying
Awesome.
to get to know my friends. So cute.
Grover will lean over to Theo during the match. It's like, how long has this been a thing?
What do you mean?
I mean, the stairs down and just all of this?
Oh,
What did
Mr.
you get
Watts.
up to when I was gone?
Would you say Theo might have been an occasional participant in these? It helped him earn a little bit of money on the side.
Oh, in the fight pits?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this has been around. Like, this is nothing new. The fight pit's been around for a while. It's kind of Mr. Watts' thing.
I would assume as old as the tavern is, how long Mr. Watts has been running it.
I've just, I suppose, somehow missed this every time it's happened. But this is rather exciting.
I mean, I typically come down here whenever I'm in a bad mood, and for a while I was in a pretty good mood, and then it hit a point, started.
And did that start when you were found together with the assistant? Which I suppose I should mention. She also, well, I'm not sure what Colonel Briar's told us since, but when I went to go visit her, she also had the stink eye for me. So I suppose it's good that she's getting along with someone.
Yes, well, Miss Cooper is nice. She is doing her best to keep the estate running while the Colonel goes about her business. But Grover, you would believe me, right? I would never.
Yes, I mean, having, as was discussed, recently been the victim of my own doing in a similar matter, I can understand how such things can be misconstrued. But if you aren't telling the truth, I feel it is my duty as the Countess is my patron to do something about it. But I don't think that's going to have to be a matter now, will it?
If the Countess has friends like you, I think I can at least put my mind at ease at some point to some of my worries. Hey, Mr. Watts, a pint of sherry. And Theo's taking his coat off.
Oh, you're back for more, huh? I'm an old man. I don't think it can be me, but anybody else? I mean, Harriet looks like that was nothing, so I mean, we could get her back in.
Miss Harriet, round two?
Oh, of course, love. I'd love to. Yes. Well, I'm going to take you down.
Right, but first I need to confirm those shears that I ordered from you. Are they gonna be good by next week, or?
Oh yeah, just come around the shop, love. It'll be fine.
All right.
But let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And she's all business. All right. Does Harriet kick your ass as well?
I think it's an even fight to a point.
Okay.
I want to leave it up to everyone else. Does Theo lose or win? I want him to win, but
I don't know. That's what I want.
She's melding. She's messing with metals. I think that. I mean.
I don't know, you guys. Theo really needs this.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let Theo win.
I'll spend a token for you to win.
Yeah, do it.
I'll send a token for Theo to win.
I love it.
Can I spend because I'm finding any way to do this because you said you wanted us to. Can I spend a reputation tag in association with this scene?
Yes.
That
Yay.
Theo wins, but gets really like fucked up in the process. So I imagine he gets a little fucked up, like fighting Harriet the Hammer Smith. But like throughout the evening, spending my loyal tag, Raleigh puts in more effort than maybe George has seen before in like cheering on his cousin, getting him a drink, being supportive, and maybe George sees Raleigh in a little bit more favorable light.
Yes. How am I going to say no to that? Yes. Are you amenable to this, RJ? To getting your win, but still handily getting your butt kicked.
It's a straight punch to his face that just disjoints his nose, and he staggers back. Harriet's like,
The crowd. Oh.
Imagine
sorry,
the Rocky
Mom.
and Apollo Creed finish, like they both hit like jaws at the same time, go staggering back, she falls, blood on his face.
And he just manages to stagger to his feet to be like, yeah.
Ow!
Good job, cousin.
Harriet's
Oh,
friends.
your nose.
Oh, come here. All right. I'm not gonna lie. This is really gonna hurt. So, anyone got a belt? Something? Just shove that in his mouth there. Thank you. All right. On 3,
God, I'm
1,
turning more and more into Riley.
2. He goes on 2 and just does your nose. It hurts like hell. All right, yeah. That's gonna be a bleeder for a while, but once you're ready to go, yeah, heal straight. It's really all I can say for it.
You did an excellent job. I honestly did not think you would win.
So that means you bet against me.
No, I bet on you. I just fully expected to lose it.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, cousin.
You're welcome. You did a good showing.
Miss Harriet, I will see you next week for my shears.
That's
Sounds fine, love. It was a good show. Not bad at all. I'll get you next time, though. But yes, it's lovely to see you. Have a good evening. Oh, and she just sort of wanders off.
maybe they have a stake for your face somewhere. Is the butcher still open?
Probably not.
No, the butcher's actually helping Harriet to her seat and getting her another pint.
He's up next.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, you know, help out your very beat up friends for the remainder of the evening. Any other shenanigans that did we want to get to?
Drinking, revelry, chatting.
Awesome. I would like to spend a resolve token. I'll use the one that Mecca gave me. Look at that. I would like to spend a resolve token that Madame Dupont is in the bar, but not doing fortunes, just sitting at a back table in the shadows. Is this fair? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All of you take one, I guess. Sure.
No,
all
don't
of you
give us
that
all
are
one.
there. Whoever wants it, take it.
Who would this
One-
negatively affect the most?
Yeah.
Probably
Theo?
Theo.
Yeah.
I guess Theo at this point. So sorry, Theo. Take it.
Mom,
Take it. Take my token.
sucks.
Take my token. So funny. You would think people would want tokens in this game, but as it progresses, we have more and
So
more. Like,
many.
I don't want them anymore. Can't go away from me. Yeah. And she won't engage. I mean, she's definitely there, and you've noticed that she's definitely been there the majority of the evening. But yeah, she's not doing fortunes. She's not really hanging out with anybody. It seems to just be her in the corner watching.
Well, he has no idea. So at some point during the night, he goes over and says hi, and like he doesn't know. And the last time he's the one that invited her into town, and it just makes like pleasant conversation. Like, come over to the manor sometime, and we'll do more readings, and maybe for the next party and stuff. Again,
She is all
has
about
no idea.
She is all about this. There is a twinkle in her eye. Oh, I would love to, my dear. That would be fantastic. When is this next soiree of yours? You know I do love them.
You know I don't plan them more than a week in advance, and we already have plans for this weekend, I think. So I will be in touch.
Lovely. Tell your
Was a
friends I
pleasure,
said
Steve.
hello. Yes.
I will.
Mm-hmm. Ta-ta. She goes back to her drink. Excellent. Well, by the end of the evening, thoroughly sloshed, George, finally his, lip has stopped bleeding, seems to be enjoying himself, says to the whole group, well, I wasn't sure, but, hell. I've been thinking about what all of you look like naked anyway. I say we take a trip out. I was just telling Raleigh about all this. Who wants to go to Brighton?
Oh, okay. This is not
Little sea
exactly
bathing?
not where I thought it was going. That sounds lovely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got a swimming machine, all ready to go. It'd be a treat. What do you think?
Well, you
guess.
know I'm up for it.
Well, of course.
Yes, I mean, the last time I left Toncham was for work, so going for a vacation sounds rather enjoyable.
Absolutely. It's a little brisk, even this late in the season, but that's what the CA is supposed to be for, right? Little brisk bracing, that sort of thing.
I hear the sea air is good for injuries.
Then I'm definitely going for sure. Yeah, let's go to a whole party. That would be lovely. Invite all of your friends. Annie will come, of course, and if Countess, well, the other one, deigns to come along, I think that would be quite lovely.
Yes.
Which countess were we speaking of?
I said
Is
the
that
other one. I know
right.
you're coming, Countess.
All right.
2 colonels, 2 countesses. Oh, bloody hell.
Won't be confusing at all.
No, not at all. Well, it's settled then. We will go by the end of the week.
Should I invite Aurora?
Well, I mean, I don't really mind. I mean, the more the merrier, honestly.
She just may take it personally if I don't invite her. Is that going to be a problem?
Shouldn't be. And yes, I do fear for your safety if you don't invite her. I will manage somehow.
I won't invite Venice.
Oh, God,
Oh,
no, I
that's-
wasn't imagining you would.
Oh, it's the other one, right? The
Citrus
No.
allergy one.
Yes. I don't even imagine she's ever been to the beach.
I would have thought that she would probably dissolve into the seawater as she's made of wax, so...
That actually makes me want to invite her even more, now that I think about it.
It is a rather large swimming machine, so the more the merrier, as they say.
At Colonel Angus's joke, Theo snorts and then doubles over in pain.
Oh. You
No.
got some blood.
Are you
on
alright there?
it.
Forgive me, I may be catching up on the latest talk about town, but aren't she and the Countess officially no longer anything to do with each other?
Oh, scorned love. That's true.
Again, I've never seen her express an emotion, so I don't know. That's why I'm interested in her being there. But, as you said, it may just make things awkward. She won't liven things up anymore. I'll invite Aurora, and Venice will think nothing of it.
Sounds like a plan to me. Well, alright. Now that that's squared away, I think we should be, getting home. Raleigh, care for a ride?
Certainly.
Excellent.
Or will you be taking the carriage together?
Something like that. Well, have a good evening.
Just put an arm over Grover's shoulder and just start walking him home.
I use 2 tokens at the
Yeah.
end of the evening.
Yeah.
I would like to give one to Grover and one to Theo and have them drunk right their lady friends. Doesn't have to be sent, but I want to hear it.
Grover, Theo,
I'll give him
are
each
you-
another token for him to send them.
All right, we have two offers here. We have one to drunk text your lady friends. We have a second offer of then sending said drunk texts. One, other, and or both.
I will take it if I can do it during the epistolary, so I can go get more beer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm game.
Yes. Take your 2 tokens.
Take 'em. I'm gonna burn through these tokens if it kills me.
Mwah. Love this.
I will piggyback off everyone else's ideas.
We like piggybacks in this game. Leapfrog away, please.
So we know Raleigh does.
Oh. All right. If that is the end of this this lad's evening, why don't we? Oh man, I'm trying to figure out which explosive thing to save for last. I think we'll save that for last. So Annabelle, you received an invitation by Ms. Vernice Keating to discuss some articles of business. You have accepted this offer? Said no to this offer? Accepted. Excellent. As she is wont to do, Ms. Vernice is very prompt to figure out a time for this meeting to take place. And I assume would invite the Colonel to the Keating estate. Is that, am I correct there, Ms. Vernice?
Yes. Yeah. I was thinking it over. Yeah. I think she invites her to the Keating estate, which I still haven't freaking named.
Oh shit. Name it! It needs a name!
Are we going with the animal themes?
Eating
yeah.
corner.
What's the most boring animal?
The sloth. No.
I was thinking
No,
something
those are cute.
fish related.
Fish
like-
related?
A sunfish.
like trout.
Fuck that thing.
or something. I was like,
Brown trout estate.
The sturgeon.
The
Oh,
sturgeon.
God. That's pretty good.
Crimson herring.
I do like the sturgeon.
Oh, the boringest fish ever, folks. It's canon. Both in our game and in real life. The sturgeon equals boring. Awesome. The Colonel makes her way to the sturgeon estate. I assume is greeted by the servants and brought into the salon area. Have we took like a very brief moment in the Keating estate, but I don't think we've really been inside. What does the Keating estate look like?
I don't think. I think because they're old money, so it's a very. What's the word I'm looking for?
Palatial estate.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think it necessarily reflects Vernice's tastes. I think maybe Vernice and Aurora get their sense of personalities from their parents respectively. Maybe Papa Keating is super ostentatious and decorates everything in very bright colors, and you kind of have this conflict with Mama Keating, who is very like subdued and trying to keep everything like grounded and stuff. So it leads to a very well decorated house that doesn't lean too hard either direction, and very nice gardens out front, well kept, everything neat and orderly, and in its place. And the serving staff is very prompt and well presented.
I love it. The Colonel's brought into the salon. Refreshments are served.
Yes, I'd like a gimlet, please, with citrus if you have it. Thank you.
Oh, I'll I have to check the kitchen. We don't generally... We might have some. I'll be right with you.
Thank you.
Heads out. If I may spend a resolve token to have Aurora peek into the salon first, if Vernice is alright with that.
Yeah, certainly.
Awesome.
I'll mark
Alright,
her.
take
resolve
your
for
token.
this.
Yeah. So you've arrived in the salon. They're seeing if they have the citrus available for your gimlet, as they don't generally keep it in the house for some reason or another. And you do hear just the briefest of knocks upon the salon door as Aurora Keating, who you became acquainted with at Mr. Addison's last party, pops her head in. Oh, hello.
The colonel begins to stand and then sees who it is and sits back down. Oh, Aurora, right?
Oh, yes. I thought we might remember each other.
It was an interesting evening.
Yes, it was. How are you? Lovely to see you.
I've been quite well, thank you. Your sister, I believe, called upon me for a meeting this afternoon. Something about business.
Oh. Well, you're making me sad. I thought maybe you'd stopped by to see me.
Perhaps another time.
Oh, I will hold you to that. So, is this a business meeting or a more friendly meeting?
Well, seeing as I have never met your sister before, or only in brief passing, I believe it is a business meeting, unless she has heard something about me that I do not know.
Oh, believe me, your reputation precedes you, Colonel.
I see.
But it is Venice, so yes, I would assume business as well. Well, I just saw that the room was occupied and not by my sister, so I thought I would stop in and say hello. Do let me know if you get bored and need an out. I'll just wave myself on by. I'll give you a code word. Oysters. Oysters is the code word, and I'll come save you, alright?
Am I to understand that you will be listening outside the room then?
Oh, always. It is my house.
She writes down on a piece of paper, oysters. Thank you.
I say Aurora that Vernice comes walking in, or comes walking around this time. Aurora, what are you doing?
Saying hello to our guest, who I was not informed would be here. Interesting.
Don't harass them. We're discussing business. Move along.
Enchanting as always, Colonel. Have a wonderful rest of your visit. Thank you again for coming to the Sturgeon.
Thank you, Miss Keating. It was a pleasure to see you again.
Of course. Good day.
Good day.
Sister.
Sister.
Sort of sashay out of the room.
The colonel will stand up and shake Bernice's hand.
She moves in, shakes her hand. She's wearing very simple, plain, black suit. Very, again, monochromatic. She shakes your hands. Just please sit.
Thank you.
I do hope my sister wasn't too much of a burden. She can be quite overbearing.
No, she's interesting, to say the least. I find her company entertaining for a short period of time.
Well, it seems that you have a great tolerance for, well, I believe we're here to discuss business.
Yes, your letter didn't say what type of business.
Yes, I had a few things I wanted to mention with you. I realized we hadn't been properly introduced. I was informed of your negotiations with the Marquis regarding textile mills. And, well, besides the Marquis, the Keating family owns a large portion of property within the city, some of it riverside. I suppose that we could come to some sort of arrangement with your business, perhaps sweeten the deal, as it might be.
I see.
We'll discuss the arrangements, so please sit. And she motions to one of the servants as they're saying. She says, black tea, no sugar.
Of course, ma'am.
And she sits and says, I don't know much about your proposal for this textile mill. Do tell me what your plan is.
Well, it's already in construction. It's on the outside of town. We will need, depending on the amount of business that we do, we might need some warehouses to store materials and finish products before they go out. So I'm interested to know of your holdings, where they reside, and unfortunately textiles don't do well near water. So, but if you have something further, on the outside of town, that would be close enough to the land I already am using, we could probably work something out.
I'll have to draw up the maps and look at it, where the boundaries lie, but I'm sure that we have something out that way. Perhaps I can leave you a few things that come to mind. I also hear that you're currently in consideration for an engagement with the Countess.
Yes. Her father introduced us at my introduction party. I did not know of you at the time, but I'm sorry you weren't there. And we've been hitting it off very swimmingly. She's a beautiful, smart woman, and I think she would make a wonderful wife.
Good. Well, our engagement was, or our courtship was short-lived. I don't believe that we saw eye to eye on most things, so congratulations on order for that. It would be suitable for, as business partners, to know that the arrangements of this mean that you'll be in town for some time, and we'll take your commitments seriously. So this is my reason for my inquiry into the matter. There's a sort of long pause as she thinks for a moment, and she says, that being said, there were some matters that I believe should be brought to your attention as as a suitor for the Countess. Some, how do I put it, indiscretions that I witnessed at the Marquis Manor.
I see. Something you've seen firsthand.
Yes. Are you familiar with a Mr. Wilmot?
Mr. Theo Wilmot?
Yes.
Yes, he is my gardener.
Right. So I've heard. Are you aware of his relationship with the Countess?
What relationship would that be?
Rather close one, from my observations. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I just didn't want to interrupt the action. I would like to play a monologue token.
Oh boy.
The Colonel, because her internal conversation is probably a little more entertaining than the one that she's having on the outside right now.
Oh boy, yeah, it is, for sure. Okay. Shit. What has Theo gone and done now? How could he be spotted? The whole reason he is at my house is so that he and Rose can have private meetings when no one else can see them. I must find out more about this and what exactly she's seen. And I must not let on that I know exactly what she's talking about. Perhaps I can spin this. Perhaps I can put her mind at ease. but I need to know what she knows. Otherwise, I'm not going to get what I want. I wonder if she asked me here for this specifically, or if there is some business that she'd like to do. Damn, I wore my good boots for this.
Excellent. Mark off your monologue.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the last thing that was said?
I don't remember.
What exactly did you see?
There we go.
Perhaps it was just a misunderstanding. He is known to be clumsy.
Try to remember because it's been a month was actually she saw it, because she didn't see them.
Canoodling.
No, she saw them at the stables. She saw them like hugging. They didn't kiss
It was in the courtyard.
in the
Yes.
courtyard.
Yeah,
The courtyard, they
she's
did
right
not
there.
kiss.
They did not kiss.
They did not kiss, but they were hugging.
He leaned in
And they
and,
were-
like, I think it was like a forehead touch or like something.
That's
here.
right.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
right. But it was more than like a reasonable person would be like, they're just friends.
Yeah.
There was
Uh,
no room for the Holy Spirit in between.
Around them, but not between them.
No. He was over
Leave
here.
room for the Holy Spirit, friends.
It's rather difficult to describe, but the air that I saw about them was certainly more than friendship, and there was not much room for misinterpretation.
When was this?
Oh, a few days back.
Days. Well, I must speak with both of them then. I can't have someone on my staff who is trying to rise above their status.
Yes. I plan to bring the matter before the Marquis, so that they can be aware of the improper advancements that have been made.
Do you know
surely
him
somebody-
well?
The Marquis?
Yes.
Well, the Keating family has done a considerable amount of business with the Marquis in the past.
If you don't mind, it's something that I would like to bring up to him myself after I've gotten all the facts. Now, you seem like a very upfront and trustworthy woman, and I take your word into high regard. If I can sort out what's going on, I will go to the Marquis myself, and after this discussion, my courting of the Countess might come into question. If it is true. Of course.
Yes, well, as I said, as the person who witnessed it firsthand, I cannot imagine there being another explanation for the actions that I saw. But as you are currently courting them, it is your prerogative to proceed as you see fit. I simply wanted to advise you so that you did not end up in a situation where the wool was being pulled over your eyes.
I do appreciate that. Thank you very much, Miss Keating.
Right. Well, and since they are in your employ as a gardener, I assume that you have more leverage over the situation as well to get to the truth of things. Why don't we do this? I will pull the appropriate deeds to confirm the arrangement that we spoke of, and let us meet next week to discuss the matter further on both sides.
That sounds lovely. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration in this business matter, and as well as your truthfulness. I hope that this means that we could become closer as friends as well as business partners.
Yes, I do hope so.
Thank you for the lovely afternoon. Though I find it odd, your house servants said that you don't keep citrus in the house.
No, I have an allergy.
Oh, I see. To all citrus or just lemon?
Most citrus, lemons, oranges.
Grapefruit.
Limes.
Yes. Wow.
I don't believe I've ever tried grapefruit, but after the lemons and the oranges, it wasn't really something I wanted to experiment with.
Understood. Well, I will. Why don't I have you call at my establishment, at my estate, next week, and when you gather everything you needed, just send me a card, and I will write you in, as it were.
Sounds wonderful. It was a pleasure meeting you, Colonel.
And you as well.
I'm gonna spend a resolve token
Oh, boy.
just to fuck with Vernice.
What you got?
There is a small citronella plant on the table. Keeps the bugs out.
Is it actually a citrus?
Citronella is found, while the enzyme is found in orange peels.
So, yeah, I'll take the result.
In small amounts, but in actual citronella, it is.
How about Aurora? That was the actual reason Aurora stopped in. She just brought the plant in, set it on the table, just to fuck with her sister.
Yeah. So she shakes her head and then she's. I'm sorry. I must get. Excuse me. And she goes walking very quickly out of the room.
So.
Excellent.
Bernice is my favorite character that I've ever played.
We've been ripping her to shreds in the chat. Just
I've
so
been
you're aware.
reading. Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else there, friends? For that visitation? Last but not least, Mr. Addison.
Oh boy.
I believe you were invited for brunch by the Countess.
Right. Yeah. He comes strolling up to the estate early or mid-afternoon, dressed impeccably, walking cane, top hat, all this stuff.
May I spend a resolve token?
Yes. Why is everyone throwing tokens at me today?
Well, I don't know who this would go to. I guess it would go to you, but it might also go to the Countess. I'll throw
Please
two. I
do,
have
do
so
that.
many. Can George come? You didn't even really think anything of it. In fact, you wanted George to come along to help extend the invitation of the sea bathing in Brighton.
I would love
Raleigh
that.
would invite George. Yeah. Because again, has no idea what this is about.
No?
I'm realizing how much Raleigh is in the dark about.
Meanwhile, I'm
this
sitting here trying to refresh my memory of like what she actually said.
She referenced Mr. Addison during the blackmail portion of your conversation.
It's fine.
Awesome. So both of you take a token. Why not? Just take tokens.
You're looking nice today.
I know. I'm showing
Take
off
the
a
compliment.
little bit. You look all right. You're
Thank you.
dressing up quite a bit. Are you trying to impress him? Am I the only one trying to impress you?
It's the Marquis. I have no idea what this meeting's about, so my mother would scold me if I came here looking anything but.
Well.
And I don't want to be on her bad side again.
Yes, well, your mother is an interesting character.
Right. You seem to be
Nice.
getting along quite well with her, though.
Bat, though. Well, again, she's blind as a bat.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. Who's this bloke she's supposed to be setting you up with, though?
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. I honestly have no idea.
She made a couple of hints, but she
I'm
didn't say who.
yet to meet the chap. And, well, I'm sure they're lovely if my mother recommends them.
Lovely indeed. Probably potted for a Bible study, I would imagine.
Probably.
Hmm.
Let them down easy.
Probably for the best. They'll forgive you either way.
Right. All right. Good faces for the Countess.
I have no other kind. This straightens his hat. And, Countess, you are informed by your favorite, Luciana, that not only has Mr. Addison arrived and is in the salon, he brought a guest.
Oh. A guest?
Yeah. Yeah, he's tall, very handsome.
Oh,
Has
I think I know who you mean.
Oh, yes, well, they're both downstairs.
Thank you, dear. And, mimosas?
They're already down there, Mum.
Perfect.
She'll stroll off.
She will take 10 minutes, and then walk down.
Raleigh, you and George are down in the salon with an array of refreshments, including some delicious mimosas, fresh squeezed orange juice. Well,
Did we arrive early?
don't think so.
I'm
Is
not
your
used to
mum
having to.
marrying you after her? Is that a thing?
No. Gods, I hope not. I mean, she's lovely, but no.
Countess and a countess. Sips his mimosa.
Right. I'm sure we get along just fine, like oil and fire.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
She does know how to make a spread, though. I should have her cater the next party.
Oh yes, I'm sure she'd love to work for you.
Was that her?
And Countess arrives.
Mr. Addison, Colonel.
Countess.
Countess?
I hope it wasn't an imposition for me to invite George.
Of course not. Always a pleasure to see you.
You as well, ma'am.
I'm afraid I was at a loss for the nature of our discussion here today.
Oh, well, that surprises me.
Right. Was there something in the letter? Was I drunk when I read the letter? Maybe.
Pretty
do I
sure
have
you
it
are.
on me?
Also wouldn't surprise me.
Well, do enlighten me.
Have you had your fill of the spread? I thought we could perhaps go out onto the balcony, have a drink among friends.
Yes, of course. I probably shouldn't eat anymore anyway. I need to wash my figure.
More for me.
I quite understand. Join me.
Does
Right?
she walk out to the balcony?
Yep. Just walks right out there.
Before joining her, just George leans over. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I'm sensing a fight brewing. What the bloody hell did you do?
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing? We did kiss. I don't know if that would be what this is about. No, that wouldn't. I can't imagine what.
Be prepared.
Right. All right. Do you want to come out then if I'm about to get...
How about I man the table and I
Yes.
come in if I hear a scream?
Yes, if you hear me screaming, please.
Definitely.
Right. And he walks out to join her on the balcony. Drink in hand. Lovely day.
Yes. I'd hoped it would be.
So, what shall we discuss?
Business. Right.
Business.
Mr. Addison, you'll forgive me for prying into what may be your personal life. I am interested to know about your relationship with a certain fortune teller that I met at one of your parties. Madame Dupont.
Madame Dupont. Yes. Lovely woman. Invited her to come in for this event, recommended to me by, I don't quite remember who now. But you met her the night that I did at the gathering at my estate. Fortune teller, I mean, that's all rubbish, but she seems perfectly lovely.
Does she? Well, you've known her for so
What?
little time.
I mean, the brief discussions that we've had have been suitable. Why? Has she done something to offend you?
Well, I'm just curious. You described them as brief discussions, and yet you've told her so much of other people's personal business and seem to want to profit off of it, Mr. Addison.
Now that sounds like something that I would do, but
I'm shocked, truly.
I can assure you that my conversations with Madame Dupont have been strictly pleasant, idle conversation. I haven't spoken to 2 words to her about you.
And why would I be assured by anything you say?
Well, why wouldn't you?
Have you met yourself?
Yes, I have. I don't like what you're implying.
I'm not implying anything, Mr. Addison. I'm merely working off of information that your seemingly very good friend, Madame Dupont, has given me when she showed up at my estate twice in the last week to extort me for money, and dropped your name
Extort you?
in the middle of it. So I want to know what you've said, I want to know what you've done, and I want to know now, or you're going off the balcony.
All right, there has to be some misunderstanding. Are you sure? Extortion, what could she be extorting you over?
You're enough of a gossip, I think you're quite aware.
Oh, wait. Does this have something to do with the arrangement with Theo?
What have you told her?
I've told her nothing.
And why should I believe that? Even for a second.
Well, because I give you my word, and that should be enough.
That means nothing to me.
Well, if my word means nothing to you, then I don't see why we carry on this conversation, then. If you're going to take the word of some... If you're going to take her word over mine, then by all means, do it. But I can promise you that I had nothing to do with whatever it is that she said to you. But the fact that you would take my word as so little, well, shows me how little this arrangement, friendship, whatever you might call it, matters. So,
You
fine
think
then.
very highly of yourself, don't you?
I do.
To just assume
And I
that
hold-
everyone would be your friend and you have to do no work for that. Even I work for my friends. You think your parties are enough?
I would suggest that you speak with my cousin. and the two of you have a detailed conversation about the nature of what we had been arranging over the past week. And ask yourself why I would be speaking to him in such a way, only to turn around and do whatever it is you're accusing me of.
Well, last time I spoke with your cousin, I found him in a very compromising position with Colonel Briar's help. So I'm loath to trust anyone today.
If you don't trust anyone, you're going to live a very lonely life. I feel sorry for my cousin, if this is how you're going to take his word as well. I'll see myself out. And he turns and walks back to the sitting room.
Oh no. You were supposed to
Leaving.
scream. There was no screaming. What's happening?
That woman is insufferable, and I can't stand to be in her presence any longer.
Oh, all right. We'll go.
See if I do her any more favors.
I'll say my goodbyes. I am new in town, after all.
Right. Go ahead. I'll be waiting out front.
Right. He'll grab his hat, his gloves, his cane, sort of mosey out to the balcony, like rap on the window pane with his walking stick.
Colonel, I assume you're leaving with Mr. Addison.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't exactly know what that was. It's obviously not my purview or business either, but, you know, he was genuinely upset.
I'm sure he seemed that way.
I don't know the best way to put this without making myself out to be a bloody scoundrel, but I'm pretty good at knowing when people are lying, and when he is, for that matter. I believe him to be genuinely upset. Again, Your Honor, none of my concern, of course, but just keep that in mind with whatever this might be.
I appreciate your wisdom, Colonel. I would counter with this. Most people, having only known Mr. Addison for a couple of weeks, think they know what he's about.
Thank you again for your hospitality.
It's always a pleasure to see you, truly.
Good day, Mum. He'll walk out. And on that note, unless we have any other small scenes for visitation, that may complete our current novel chapter. And, yeah. Break? That was a rather intense one. Yeah. We'll go ahead and take our bio break. We're about halfway there. Thank you for joining us so far, friends. We'll be back real quick. Refresh your drinks, grab something to eat. We'll do the same. And we will see you all very shortly. And welcome back, friends. Thank you for joining us again, sticking around while we had our bio break. We have fun drinks. Oh my god, that's really sweet. Oh, well, not that one. Wow. Anyway, we have successfully completed our Visitation novel chapter. For anyone just joining us that has not heard of Good Society before, again, where it's a collaborative storytelling game. It is token-based, as you've probably heard us say the word token about 99 times tonight. So we're going to go on to the next cycle, part of the cycle of play, which is the reputation part of our game. So our illustrious major characters are gonna, self-reflect on what they did in this past novel chapter and see if it had a positive or negative connotation to it. Positive, great. They'll get some little bonuses. Negative, well, we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and Mr. Addison. You think you are ready?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a negative because I can't imagine that this helped this was acting in a way with society's conventions, because the three, which I think everyone has the same, like, act in contravention of society's conventions, acting on desire in a way that compromises duty or morality, or shamed or embarrassed the family name. Maybe shamed or embarrassed the family name with what's going on with the Colonel and her threats there.
With the Countess, you mean?
Sorry, the Countess.
There's too many C's, I know.
I know.
I don't know, honestly. I would say that he actually took a verbal beating rather well. Like, he could have been very scathing and mean, and
I guess I'm thinking more like what the ramifications for the conversation are going to be, and less like what he actually did. So yeah, I guess what he did wasn't that bad. So I don't know. I mean, I'm actually...
I would say either a neutral or even a positive. Like, you had a really great scene. Like, you were
True.
cheering on your cousin, having some real positive interactions with the lads, with George. I don't know. I'd say either a neutral or positive, personally. Feel free to chime in there, Franz.
I agree. I think he handled that really well.
I also think he handled it really well for this one.
Given that I was the one giving him the handling.
Okay.
I mean, you could say that you acted in the service of duty or morality in a way that compromised your desires, if your desires might have been to,
Screaming
fight
her in
back.
her face, yeah.
Because I'm positive he wanted to defend himself.
See, the way
In
I'm
a
thinking
more,
about
like,
it is that, like,
aggressive-
he didn't defend himself more, and he just kind of walked away from the situation. It was like, fuck her, is the way I was thinking. I'm gonna go with neutral, just because there's so much, like, there's so shades of gray there. I'm gonna go with neutral and not do one either way.
That was fair. That's absolutely fair. Well, you'll make that call. Alrighty. Countess.
See, I'm also grappling with this one.
This one's tough.
Because there is, like, acted in the service of morality. Which she thinks he totally went against and did some real shitty stuff and tried to defend it. Then there's also allowed others of lesser rank to talk down to you or treat you as an inferior. But I don't know that that happened. I don't know that she allowed it to happen.
I wouldn't even say he spoke to her as an inferior. In fact, I think he spoke to her rather respectfully. If anything, again, I would say
She thinks he did.
But what about Madame Dupont?
Was that in this past novel chapter?
No, that was the one before.
Oh, yeah, that was
Oh, okay.
before, so I'm kind of
'Cause
between.
I could even make the call of, like, made a sacrifice or denied your desires to uphold the superiority of your rank. Like, Raleigh at this point was your friend. We could, loosely use that term of friend, but in order to uphold your superiority of rank, like you had to give him a talking to for this, because this would not
true.
stand.
Doesn't matter though, she's totally wrong.
Oh, 100%. But she still
She's in
upheld
charge.
her
It doesn't matter.
superiority.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot.
So positive.
Another one?
You got spend. I was gonna throw one in, but I didn't want to. It's so hard. Oh man, oh beans, beans. You guys are such good role players. I don't want to interrupt your scenes with my own frivolities. Darn.
Don't want to interrupt. What would that even be?
Thesaurus.com.
I've already got superior is the thing.
We await your dollars. Let's pull you up here. So, upholding your superiority.
Authoritative?
I like that. Authoritative.
That's good.
Or... Yeah, all these other ones that I'm looking at make it more
See, I would almost
negative.
say like unyielding or something like that, where she's like,
that's nice.
she
That's
kind of like
good.
stuck her foot in the ground.
Uncompromising, unyielding.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's do that. I'm just that one underneath.
You're 6 now.
Oh my god,
Then
Savvy!
you go off the
Spend your attacks, girl!
My problem is that I get in the middle of a scene and then I forget that there's rules.
Yeah, it seems
Will you
to be
guys
the way.
spend them for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, can
I
you
did
know
that
what?
last
Yes.
time,
I
I
was
think.
trying to. I was like,
You
how
can
could
spend a
she
negative
So you know what? I'm gonna make a spur of the moment decision. You can spend other people's positives too, but it has
Please
to
help
be.
me.
It cannot be a detriment to them. A positive tag has to, be helpful to them, and a negative tag has to be detrimental to them.
Please
I will
help
make
me.
that call.
Because going into a scene, I'm like, I got this. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And then words start coming out of my mouth. And I'm like, this is not a game.
Yo, same thing here.
I just forget. Here's the thing.
You know what we could do? We could use your dutiful tag and have Colonel Breyer invite you out, because if we're courting, then you going to the beach with her makes sense.
Total sense.
It would.
Just saying.
George is still probably gonna write you a letter, but it's fine.
That's cute.
I like
Countess
it.
is gonna have 3 people inviting her to the beach.
She's
Both
so
Colonels and Theo.
popular. Oh my god.
Hey, I'm the one with the popular tag.
Then spend it.
Spend your
What?
Grover, you spend
Spend
your
your
popular
tag.
tag to also invite me.
Invitations from everyone. Oh
I'm
man.
gonna show up and Raleigh will be pissed and I'll be like, I got like 5 invitations to this. I don't know why you're so mad.
Oh, I love it so. All right, Theo.
Plus minus 0, unless you count him fighting again, is a negative.
I don't
Then I
think
would
so. It
posit-
wasn't a self-destructive fight. It was for fun among the lads. So I don't think I'd count that as a negative.
Okay. Plus minus 0.
Okay. All right. Trying to think. All right, that's fair. And Grover.
And I think just neutral. There hasn't been enough of Grover yet in this.
Yeah, we gotta
This
get
cycle.
Groves in. Gotta get Groves in. We shall. Oh, Groves. You're gonna regret saying that once we get to Brighton. LB.
Hi, I'm LB Hackup. I think.
No, pass that part out.
Oh, sorry. I think I get a positive because I secured a personal invitation from someone of higher social status than me. I also acted in service or duty doing this. I acted in obedience to society's conventions. This whole conversation was one positive thing. And I didn't sell out my friends.
And you didn't. I definitely think that's a positive.
Oh god, I didn't even think of a tag though. I was like,
you
I
want-
got this, and then started looking up pictures.
Do you want one of mine?
I mean,
Not how this works.
two of us already have dutiful, and you were fairly dutiful there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. Let's
There's,
look
like,
up
Just-
another
What
thing.
about like
Loyal?
loyal?
Devoted?
Loyal. I just spent my loyal tag. No, I didn't. Loyal.
Steadfast.
I like loyal. I am very loyal.
All right.
Take that.
Loyal it is.
Also, I went back beyond the threshold last time by spending one of my tags, and I
Mhm.
just got back to it.
Oh, perfect. So you may, well, since that was like within the same
Yeah.
novel chapter, you can, I'll give you a choice. You can either keep the positive condition that you had, or you could change it up if you wanted.
Yeah, I like Miss Cooper. She can stay.
Cool. All
Is
right.
Miss Cooper coming to the beach?
No.
All right. No.
He's not allowed. It's not allowed.
This is not a business trip. It is a pleasure trip. So no. Excellent. All right. Well, our reputation is complete. Good show, everyone. I believe it's now another one of our favorite. I would say our favorite. All of the parts of Cycle Play are our favorite. Let's be perfectly honest. Rumors and scandals. Yay! Pull up our rumors. There are a lot. I'm just gonna read the ones that are still up for grabs that have not yet been spread. Cause oh my god. There are 30 on here, y'all. I'm not reading all that. I'm just not gonna do it. Still available for your, I was gonna say spreading pleasure, but that just, nope. Moving on. Let's see. Colonel Angus will be staying in town with the militia for the spring and summer. Still up for grabs. Well, dang it. Mildred Addison is losing her faculties. That wasn't spread yet, and it's spread. Screw it. I'm just making that decision. And Bernice Keating.
Wait, I thought it was spread though because everyone knew about it.
We kind of just ran with it, I think, friends. And you
Ah.
know what? That's okay. You know what? We spread it organically. I like it. And Bernice Keating has been holding her own court in the Keating estate. So, as per usual, we'll go around, you'll do one, then you'll do a second. You may either create one anew, or you may spread an existing one. And if the ones I just read are not spread this round, they will disappear. So, why don't we start in the bottom row this time? Colonel, do you have a rumor that you would like to create or spread?
Oh boy. Sure. I will do a rumor that Annabelle Breyer is perhaps stepping out on the Countess.
Bum. Colonel Breyer is stepping out on the Countess. Oh my. Excellent. Alex.
Yeah, sorry.
feel like I missed something, but yeah, I think for now, just gonna go ahead and spread that one.
Okay. Spread. Excellent. Next is RJ.
Let's take a read. Bernice Keating has been holding her own court at the Keating estate.
Spread.
Let's spread that.
Bam. Everyone knows she's up to some shady shit. Excellent. Savvy.
I know. I'm going to say... I don't know what I'm going to say. This is hard.
I know. Colonel Angus staying in town with the militia is still up for grabs as well.
I'm thinking about that one. I'm going to say there's a rumor going around that because he's been spending so much time with Madame DuPont, that Raleigh Addison is now dabbling in occult practices.
Oh, jeez. Raleigh Addison is now dabbling in the occult with Madame DuPont, which we all know, of course, she is a witch.
She's definitely a witch.
She's so a witch. Excellent. My count sheet's being weird. All right. Sean.
Well, I was also going to spread a rumor about Raleigh. So this just feels selfish, but Raleigh Addison is preparing to relocate to the Addison property in town or in the city.
Oh. To relocate to the Addison house in London. Ooh. All right. I get twosies. I will say I'm spreading that one, that Raleigh's planning to relocate, because that's just deliciously dramatic. And I will say, because why not? I'm gonna say that Mildred Addison intends to set up Raleigh with Mr. Grover Shelton. Raleigh with Mr. Shelton. Done. Sean.
I had this. I realized that we have this for Aurora too, but Vernice Keating is secretly courting Colonel Breyer.
Bum, bum, bum. Done. Savvy.
I'm gonna do this one because we gotta get this fool in here at some point. That Mr. Erasmus Cockburn, hearing about her new arrival to town and her growing business, as well as her friendship with the Marquis, has decided to try and patronize Colonel Breyer.
Don't patronize me.
Can't wait for a scene for me to talk to myself.
Ayo! Excellent. Theo. Oh no. We do not write our rumors and scandals as our characters. We write them as actual human beings. So excuse me. RJ.
It's okay. I'm a method actor. Ooh. I wanted to spread this last time, but a woman in white has been seen at the church graveyard looking for her child.
Yes! Keeping up with our spooky shit. All right.
We gotta have one ghost every time.
We do. In white.
Well, sometimes it's a Bigfoot.
Has been seen roaming around the Tonsham graveyard looking for her. For her child. Excellent. Alex?
I'm wondering if this might be shooting too big, but given
No such thing. Shoot for the stars, my
his
friend.
own recent visit into town, the Mr. Grover Shelton has been commissioned by the Queen to paint a portrait.
I will point out that during the Regency era, it was a king, but you know what? This is another realm, so
Power
it's the
balance
queen.
off.
Whatever. The queen.
Let's do monarch, they're non-binary.
Exactly, by the monarch.
Oops.
For a portrait. I love it. And LB.
Thinking about how to phrase this. The rumor is that there are some servants at the Battenmore estate who can be paid off to give family secrets.
Ooh.
I've read these books before. I know how it works.
At the Battenmore. State can be paid to divulge family secrets. We've got some good ones, good ones, good ones. All right. So that means that Colonel Angus staying in town is Dunzo. As well. Oh, no, that's okay. No, we spread everything else. You gossiping little. All right.
So now does that mean he's going bye-bye? I assume not, but
Just
He can do what he wants. It's a rumor.
Rumor.
A little, thing floating around. Excellent. We have completed rumors and scandal. Now for my personal favorite part of epistolary letters. We've got letters. I need my sound effects thing. I'll set it up later. It's time to write some letters, friends. I'll start at the top. Let's go. Well, I have one that I know for sure that I will be writing, which is Colonel Angus to the Countess. Not his Countess, the actual, yeah, that one. To her Honorable Countess. Full name, just gives you all of it, the whole thing, even the Esquire at the end, and the Von Spice. I am loath to recall how quickly I left your presence when last we spoke. It is unfortunate that we could not have entertained a longer morning within your lovely hospitality. I had meant to extend you an invitation to sea bathe in Brighton over the end of the week. It will be a large and boisterous party of Tantram's best and brightest. So, of course, you should be in attendance as well. I do hope that any sour feelings that may have been aired during our last meeting may dissolve away in the lovely, bracing embrace of the sea. Oh, please do invite your youngest sister. I do believe she is now out in society. We would love to have her with us as well. Sincerest regards, Colonel George T. Angus. The T stands for tough. All right.
Just love him. Just love him so much.
He's so great. I like him. Raleigh, you hold on to him, okay? All right. Speaking of, Raleigh, or any of your contacts, of course.
Oh, it's Raleigh.
Okay.
Raleigh is writing a letter to Theo. Theo, I very much enjoyed our evening out the other night. George and I spoke on it for some time after saying our goodbyes, and we did very much enjoy that company and hope that we can gather again soon. I write to you on a different matter. We're running a conversation with with Countess, I forgot your full name, Rosamund Spice. Seems to me she might have a misunderstanding that I believe it is in your best interest to clear up. I'll have to admit to you, in full discretion, that I do not find myself with the best temperament towards her. I'm sure you see something in her that I do not. I find her a petulant child who draws conclusions far too quickly. I wish you the best in your endeavors in courting her, but I'm afraid that beyond our arrangement regarding our conversations about my dear uncle, that my support of this union comes to a close. I'm sure we'll speak more on the subject soon. Sincerely, Raleigh Edison.
Savvy, you want to heal that burn real quick?
No, I want to write a letter to Theo.
Here, I'm just my proverbial popcorn. Please continue.
Dearest Mr. Wilmot, I hope this letter finds you well. It's been a bit since we spoke about your current endeavors, and I write to you with a bit of caution, which I hope you will take pleasantly. You're very aware of my concerns about your cousin and his temperament, and I find after a recent conversation with him, they've only grown. I know my opinion is not the only one that matters to you, but I would express some concerns on his trustworthiness moving forward. We can speak more of this next time we meet. Ever yours, the Honorable Countess Rosamund Spice.
You're gonna give this boy an aneurysm.
I'm imagining that, like, he received these, in his quarters, and he gets the first one from Raleigh, and the second one from the Countess, and like, oh man. Well,
There's a note pinned to his door the following morning. Not feeling well, taking day off.
Theo, if Theo would like to send a letter.
I'm up. Cool. It's a letter to Countess Rosamund Spice. To my dearest Countess Rosamund Spice. I must apologize for my behavior these past weeks. The opportunities that have presented itself have made me impatient, for lack of a better word. I know when we convened that I told you not to worry and everything will be alright. That was insensitive of me. In times such as this, with so many unknowns around every corner, it would be strange to not worry, to not try and stress and plan around every inconvenience. I confess I wish I could plan for everything, to have some truth when I say not to worry, to assuage whatever fears you have about the present and future. I've done you a disservice for not considering your feelings in the matter at hand, and I've touted to others that I would never stain your honor time and time again. But with my recent revelations, this is not the case. I wish to make amends. I wish to confide in you so that we can both worry about the present and future, so that we can lighten each other's loads, if only a little. What I have not done is be untrue. I have never been infidelious to you, and the incident with Miss Cooper was just that. A very unlikely circumstance that ended in a compromising position. The only relationship I have with her is that of a professional nature. I'm not a clever man, and I have to confess it's taken several drafts to get this far. I do not have the guile or the charm to write a compelling enough argument to get you to believe me. All I can do is ask. Ever yours, T. Wilmot.
You can't do this to me, RJ! Jesus! Alex, save me from my tears.
At some point from my notes, I'm gonna need a copy of that letter. I couldn't quite keep up, but Grover is writing a letter to the Colonel Breyer, and it starts with, like dearest Annabelle, scratched out, Colonel Breyer, scratched out, AN, scratched out, Annie. Forgive me if I'm making things too plain, but given my recent follies, I find it better to be above board, out in the open, whichever turn of phrase you find best suits your understanding. I understand that Colonel Angus will have already extended this invitation to you, but as many of us will be going to Brighton over the weekend, it would be my most heartfelt desire to be able to spend even a bit of it in your company. Again, I do believe, based on the last time we met face to face, that we have mended the indiscretion I caused at Mr. Addison's most recent gathering, but it was also clearly my lack of awareness that got me into that mess in the first place. And while I certainly do not expect you to forgive me every fault or hold my hand through such matters, I do wish for your understanding, your forgiveness, and, if at all possible, your companionship. At the very least, I hope you would consent to me doing a sketch or a painting of you at the beach, as it is always a lovely landscape, though hardly matched by the subject juxtaposed before it. Please do let me know your response, but either way, I shall see you at Brighton. Yours, Mr. Grover Shelton.
Obi.
Oh boy. I will say that, well, okay. So my first letter is to Colonel Angus. And it is in just the strictest military writing at date time, and it is in code. Because that's how they talk to each other. And within this code, it says, "My dear Colonel, I have a mission of the utmost importance. On this trip that we are taking to the coast, I am to attend with the Countess. However, my intentions are to spend as much time with Mr. Shelton as possible. I cannot do this out in the open if certain parties are around. However, with your assistance, I think we can make this a possible thing. So," and then she's gonna lay out a plan as to how this can happen, like code words, like when you're gonna pull him aside and you're gonna pull him to a place that I'm already at, like there's no way that we can be caught, sort of thing. "With your help, I believe that this mission can go forward successfully. Yours, Colonel Annabelle Breyer." And then like whatever the militia oorah is.
Hoo-ha! Well, you get a second as well since you're at the end, so you get to write your second letter as well.
Oh God. I have not actually been contacted by Mr. Dickface. What's his name? The other artist.
Erasmus Cockburn.
Cockburn.
Dickface is good though.
This is good. I enjoyed that.
Am I correct in that assumption?
No, you
Okay.
have not.
Okay.
Mr. Dickface. Continue.
I will. The colonel will write a letter to Mr. Shelton. Dear Mr. Shelton, thank you for your lovely letter. As always, your words on paper do not fault you. I will be in attendance to the event on the shore, and I will hopefully be able to spend time with you. However, I will tell you that there are going to be parties there that aren't privy to our arrangement, that being the arrangement between Rose, Theo, and I. And if that is the case, then there might be less time for us to talk. However, doing sketches would be acceptable as long as you are not showing favoritism too much in the eyes of the other parties. But I'm considering ways where we could perhaps find some time alone together. I will keep you up to date. Thank you again for your kind letter, and I will see you on the shore. Yours, Colonel Annabelle Breyer. And then in like quotations, Annie.
You got an Annie. What do you have to say to that, Grover?
There is an affirmative, thankful response, but I think the second epistolary letter I would like to spend is, I know we didn't actually spread this rumor yet, but we do need to get him in here. Grover's going to write to Mr. Erasmus Cockburn.
What is he going to say to Mr. Dickface?
Now, would this have happened while he was still drunk writing letters? And does he call him Mr. Dickface?
You all did say that you would do this. Well, no, it was to your lady
spend a
loves, but I
resolve
want this too.
Yeah, I'll send a resolve token for this.
Yep.
What do you say in your drunk text to your frenemy?
Mr. Dickface, I thought I told you to seek patronage with the Addisons. Raleigh would be a much better match for your talents. He would be far more interesting. Do not think to approach Colonel Breyer. Not only is she an honorable saint, but there is another colonel in town who would rip you asunder if you so much as glance at her the wrong way, and given your temperament, I do believe you would not leave Toncham in one piece. If you do still intend to come to town, so be it, but you consider yourself duly warned. Yours, no, you're better, and I think it's almost, like best regards, but it's somehow drunkenly scrawled to come out to be your better, Grover Shelton.
100% that bitch, Grover Shelton. Amazing! Amazing. RJ.
Countess Rosamund Spice gets a second letter, but it's not an epistolary. It has 3 red roses in it, and a very sloppy sorry. But Colonel Annabelle Breyer gets a letter from Erasmus Cockburn. What should he say? What accent did I give this kid? Fuck.
I don't think you've. I think
He's
we've-
had like one
he's
speaking
had like
line.
one
Okay.
letter.
It could be
You can-
whatever you want it to be.
Whatever you want him to be.
To Colonel
Texan.
Annabelle Breyer.
Yes.
He's Russian.
It has come
He's a
to my
vampire.
Transylvania.
Erasmus Cockburn.
I am a painter by the name of Erasmus Cockburn and wish to seek patronage from your esteemed house. I wish to set up a meeting so that we can speak on the matter. Whenever you are available, please do contact me. Signed, Erasmus Cockburn.
I don't trust it. All right.
And then he gets in league with Vernice and Madame Dupont.
Shh, don't give away the ending. Savvy.
Theo gets a second letter. It's very short. But it says, Dearest Theo, I've received your most recent letters, very happily, and they've given me an idea. Colonel Angus has invited me on holiday to Brighton, and I'm under the impression that you will also be attending. I have a simple request. A picnic on the beach after everyone's gone to bed. Bring the blanket, if you can. Yours always, Rose. P.S. Burn this letter. Immediately.
Holds it over the fire, throws it in the fireplace.
Perfection. Sean.
Raleigh writes a letter to George. This is George. Not really sure how to do this. I'm sorry for my behavior the other day. My outburst upon leaving the Marquis' estate. I did not wish for you to see me like that. It comes to my attention that there have been rumors circulating around town that I am to up and move to London. I can assure you this isn't the case. Though, with recent goings-on, some time away from Tonsham may be in my best interest. It's been some time since I holidayed in London, and if you'd like to accompany me, it'd be my honor to have you. Shit, that sounded sappy, didn't it? Regardless. Do let me know. Edison.
I love it. Oh, I get one now. Yes, of course, George will write back. Countess. Well, I would love to go prancing around in town with you. I do believe you have a couple more things here in Tonsham to be getting on with before you are allowed to go on holiday. I believe you know in what I am referencing. Never fear. You have a seasoned colonel by your side. And I also am not going anywhere anytime soon. Most sincerely, G. And that's epistolary, my friends. Oh boy. And now it's time to do some sea bathing, friends. It's the event chapter! Ba 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 ba! Beach trip! We're going to Brighton, bitches! It's time. you saddle up them carriages. You pack away those ridiculously overstuffed chests of clothing and other whatever you're bringing along. There'll be food packed, all the things. Carriages are ready. I would assume everyone's kind of like riding, like caravanning together, I suppose, since everyone is going along. So I would say George being the one that has the swimming machine. For those of you that don't know, look up swimming machine. Hilarious reads. Just gonna tell you, we've been, brushing up ourselves over the day today. Pretty funny stuff. It's basically like a big wooden carriage where people would like be ridden into the water by horses and just sit around in the water, naked or otherwise. Regency it's a fun time. Check it out. He's got it. He's hitched it up along with his carriage. He, of course, is not riding in his carriage. He is riding on a single horse. It's George. But he will probably just go riding around to all the houses. He'll stop at Raleigh's first, of course. And he has brought a trumpet. So he has his carriageman bringing the carriage along with the swimming machine, and he's on his single horse. He's brought Grimace, the black stallion, and he's holding the reins in one hand, and he starts just trumpeting with the other. It's obscenely early in the morning, but he does wake you, your mother, probably some of the servants, with some trumpeting.
Mother, where's the gun? I'm going to shoot him.
No, it's a bit early to be shooting anyone, dear.
God. Just like throws open the windows. What are you doing?
Waking you up! I told you we'd be early.
What time is it?
It's
Is
the
that
exact...
that colonel? I quite like him.
It is, Mother.
Hello, Mum. I'll be taking your boy for several days. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, that seems absolutely wonderful. Raleigh, you could do with this.
Are you sure you don't want to come with us? A little bit of brisk sea bathing might do you good.
No, I've some business to attend to here with my brother.
She does. Much business. All right, I'll be down in a moment. I just need to get ready.
I'll give you 5 minutes, or else I start playing again.
What can I do in 5 minutes?
You should have been packed already. I did send letters.
All right, 5 minutes.
And at his word, he is a man of his word. If you are not down in 5 minutes.
It's not 5 minutes, and it's more like probably 20 or 30, so he has to deal with 25 minutes of the trumpet playing because he did not pack ahead of time.
Yep.
Raleigh, how dare you let that man stand out there and play the trumpet for so long for you?
Right, Mother.
He only, knows 2 songs, too, and they're, pretty short. Maybe, he was, waking everyone up at the camp. So he does the 2 songs and then just keeps playing them
It's
on
just
repeat.
taps over
Yeah,
and
I was
over.
about to say, but one of them is taps, so,
It's What's New
just real
Pussycat
sad.
7 times in a row.
Eventually, you make your way down, Raleigh, I assume. And the rest of you receive a similar treatment. Of course, you don't get woken up quite as early as Raleigh, but he does send rather brisk announcements to all of you about almost the exact time that he intends to be at your estates to bring you along into the caravan. And he's very precise in this timing.
The countess
Theo
is
gets-
packed and ready, and she's up 10 minutes before.
Nice.
Standing outside.
Theo gets woken up an hour early as she starts going over all of the proper etiquette for being at the beach and speaking with people and all that sort of stuff. She's just walking around gathering things, making sure the servants are in line, totally just curdling up this place. Theo, are you listening? Then repeat back to me the thing that I just said.
Are you listening?
She bops him on the head with a stick. I will
Yes,
not
I
have you
under-
mucking this up.
I understand that people's positions and titles are on the line. It's the beach. We're there to have fun.
Not in high society. Gather my things, let's go.
Yes, Mum.
Now that everyone's awake, I'm gonna call out our chat redemption real quick.
Woot!
It's for a token. It's from Mecca. Thank you, Mecca. The tag says, Savvy, you thought you had too many tokens? Well, have more.
Mecca! That's so nice and cruel all at the same time.
I would be
Thank you.
remiss if I didn't shout you out and also blame you for my problems. Love you.
Thank you, Mecca. And last but not least, Grover, you get to sleep a little bit longer than anyone else, but you do get roused by the trumpet.
I think he's ready. He has, a couple of the servants bring out probably more suitcases than anyone else has, sees how much room is left on the various carriages, and it's like, oh, I guess I'll have to leave behind 2 suitcases of canvases. That is unfortunate, but nothing to be done.
Rover, do you know I have to unload all of this?
I mean, I can get at least one of them.
It's one thing I've learned, it's how to organize. Give it here.
Theo plays the most amazing game of Regency luggage Tetris. It's quite astonishing, and manages to get the last little bit of space utilized in the carriages. And you all are off to Brighton. Anything on the trip there that we would like to go over? Actually,
I would
for
love
a
to
trip.
know, like, who's riding together.
George is at the front.
Obviously.
Raleigh would be with George.
Excellent.
On a horse?
Or riding behind George in the carriage. Or riding behind George on the horse.
So George is on the horse pulling the carriage?
No, he is on a single horse. He has his coachman actually has the carriage with all the stuff and then dragging along the swimming machine.
Gotcha.
So he has several horses with the carriage and the swimming machine.
Okay, because the Countess is probably going to be in the carriage. Raleigh does not want to be there. Raleigh would be on the horse with George then.
Nice. George and Raleigh. On Grimace in the front. Grimace. That's the name of Grimace. I'm just imagining them riding on the purple dude from McDonald's now.
Or I'm debating whether Raleigh brings Annie.
He could. He definitely
No,
could.
he won't do that.
Because Annie probably needs to be in the same carriage as the Countess for
Oh, no.
appearances.
Oh.
Annie, the horse.
Other
Annie.
Annie.
It's that part too. Yeah, he named his
Yeah.
horse Annie.
Then
That's right.
Then I guess our carriage is the Countess and Amelia, who was invited.
Amelia did come. Yay! She's so excited. This is her first field trip, as it were, since she's come out into society. She's ecstatic. She can't believe that she is actually leaving town without Mumsy and without father. So
And the Colonel, who I guess is really realizing for the first time just how much of a horse girl Amelia is.
Is Aurora coming too?
she'll bring her own carriage. So she will have come along in her own.
Fine.
I
Carriage
think-
girls.
I think once we get halfway, Annabelle is going to hop off and ride on her horse, which will be named Matilda. And since we're naming horses after musicals now, and she'll ride
Grimace a
with the She'll ride
It
with
is not
with
riding
the
it.
colonel and colonel. Up at the front, she'll be egging him on to do tricks and stuff. So sorry, Raleigh.
Oh man, he does the fun canters of like he's riding forward and then the horse sort of flips around and the horse is like trotting backwards. He gets the horse up on two legs. Like the horse is like looks like it's dancing. Like he knows them all. What do you have,
we have to keep
Countess?
doing this.
All right, try this. And she's gonna go and she's gonna jump something fucking huge, like a cart in the street, landing, trotting back.
Raleigh, are you on your own horse or are you on the back with him?
I thought he was just on the back with
All
he was on the
right.
back with yeah.
He just sort of looks behind. I mean, she.
No.
She's
no.
saying, I.
No, please no.
Hold on.
Okay.
And he'll go. He'll jump at the same. He'll be sure. He does it like one-handed. Like he's holding the reins with one hand, and like I'm assuming you're kind of like got some arms around him. Like he's got other arms. Like he's like mom arming your arms at this point, making sure you're holding on tight.
Gods, man, if you want me to be any use this weekend, you will stop doing that.
He'll just laugh and he'll ride back. Anything else on the way? It's really not that far. It is like less than 10 miles. You guys are actually quite close to Brighton. So yeah, we'll say like a couple hours, I guess. But you started very early in the day. You're gonna get there before noon.
This does feel like every high school beach trip I went on where somebody in the group hates somebody else in the group. There's some sort of drama going on. This just feels too real to me.
That's
growing
why
up
I'm
in
wondering,
Florida.
like, does this mean Theo and Grover end up in the carriage with Aurora, or where are our boys?
Oh, because Aurora brought her own carriage.
She did, and in fact, I will say, it looks like she brought one too many horses. Like she kind of has like one horse that's at the front with the carriages, and like another one to actually bring her, little phaeton. So she'll, when you guys, take a small break, as it were, she'll take that horse off and she'll get the single horse and she'll ride along. And of course, Amelia will be longingly looking out the window like, would it mean terribly much if I...
No, go on.
Thank you. Stop the carriage, please. And she'll get out and she brought her horse. So she'll go and she'll ride in the back with Aurora.
Well, Rose will also, like, conspicuously get out and make sure she's okay, and now everyone knows she's in a carriage by herself. Okay, back in.
Countess carriage. Anyone go into the Countess carriage? Anyone?
Grover and Theo are in one carriage, and the caravan stops. Grover looks up from his painting, and Theo's gone.
Where could he be?
Faint Theo outline.
Smoke.
It's a mystery.
Rose steps back into the carriage, the other door opens up, and Theo just kind of tries to stealth roll in and close the door behind him, but it gets stuck in his tailcoat, so he has to open it again and pull it close.
Amazing.
She just turns very dramatically pretend. Where did you come from?
I'm here to take your money. Ah.
Oh dear. Am I? I'm so scared.
Wait, no, I should play the hero in this one. I got your letters.
Did you?
I don't think it's enough time to discuss on the way to Brighton. It's only a few more minutes out. Tonight?
Sounds lovely.
Kind of just a moment of pause. How long is Amelia going to be? Is she gonna ride the rest of the way, or should I vanish right now?
Well, they've got her on a horse, so I imagine the rest of the week.
Fair.
Stay.
Sit next to her.
Do they make out?
Little
Do they make
slide
out?
latch closes. Just leave it up to the imagination.
Hey, I'll fade to black on that one. Hey-o. And you have all arrived. George would have booked you all at a one of the seaside resorts, as it were. I should name these things ahead of time. Seaside resort in Brighton. Poseidon's Terrace. Here we are. You have some lovely villas booked at Poseidon's Terrace. One for all of you, if you would prefer. I'm assuming that the Countess... Will you be staying with your sister? Would you like your own? You know, those sort of things. He would have just booked one for each person. Everyone gets their own. It's fine. So literally every single one of you, for propriety's sake, has your own villa at Poseidon's Terrace. Of course.
Nobody knows who you are at Brighton.
What happens in Brighton stays in Brighton. So you and the handful of servants that you've all brought along, if you've brought any, help you unpack. And before everyone goes off, George will announce to the group, all right, you have approximately 90 minutes to unpack and get ready for a brisk dip in the ocean. Synchronize your timepieces, and that time begins now.
Do any of us have timepieces other than, like, maybe Raleigh has a very fancy pocket watch that he's never used? It's probably not accurate.
It's not even wound. Yeah.
Absolutely not. People do that for me.
So the kernels, then. That's about it. Okay.
It's very nice. Like, it's gold and it's got like gemstones and stuff, but it doesn't work.
It hasn't worked in years.
The bloody hell have you done to this thing? It's a gorgeous timepiece, and you've just...
I mean, nothing. Was I supposed to do something to
Is
it?
that mascarpone in the... Raleigh.
That's a very long story.
I'll bet. I am confiscating this.
Oh.
You will have to earn it back. He'll put it into his shirtwaist pocket.
I'm sure I can think of some things.
We'll see. He'll turn
90
toward
minutes. Right. I'll start counting.
Yeah, about 15 minutes into your 19 minutes, Raleigh, you get a knock at your door, and it's George, and he'll let himself in and close the door. 90 minutes later, for the rest of you, please let me know. Do you have your standard bathing gowns or other bathing attire on? Does anyone want to elaborate on what they're wearing?
Io's wearing a pair of breeches and just a shirt. He doesn't own swimwear.
If you had told me, I would have bought you something. You know this.
It's fine.
Why, are you just going to be taking it off as soon as you get into the water?
No, because I can't swim.
Really? Oh, darling. Well, we're going to have to work on that.
I thought I would just stroll on the beach and be safe from the terrifyingly deep salt water.
Oh, don't worry. There are no sharks in this region. That's a lie.
Why does you saying that not comfort me at all?
Anyone else?
I think Grover's probably got the fairly standard attire, but there's somehow already paint stains on it.
Excellent.
The Colonel actually has her hair down, which only one of you has seen at this point. Well, the other Colonel's seen it, but like it's just like dark and flowing and all that.
This is acceptable for propriety at the beach. But quite shocking otherwise.
I was gonna say the Countess also has her hair down. Just long, just red mass.
Two gorgeous mermaids
curly
over
hair.
here.
And I'll say what she, her attire is, I think, shockingly simple.
I like it. Amelia has put her hair partially down. Not all the way down, just partially down, like a half pony. And she's
working
wearing
on it.
a similarly simple bathing gown as well. Aurora comes out of her carriage, sort of brings it along. It looks like the flimsiest thing you've ever seen when she actually comes out of her villa. Not only are there, it's not even just a short sleeve, it is a tank. There's no sleeves, it's sleeveless. Her bare arms are showing. The dress, which most of them for the beach are cut a little higher so you don't ruin your hemline, it is to her knees. It is shocking. But she...
Can I see her ankles?
Yes.
Too much.
You can see her calves. This is quite possibly the most scandalous thing. Like, some of you have even seen this woman, like, nearly naked or completely naked. Just the sheer fact of just seeing her bare calves. It's somehow even more scandalous than before. Well, are we bathing or not? Right, of course. Well, you're all prompt at least. George, of course, has a fairly similar to Grover's swimming attire, except think currently European swimsuit short. Not Speedo, just very short. All right. Who among you will require a dipper?
What's a dipper?
A dipper, for those of you that don't know, is someone that will literally hold you up like they're giving you a swimming lesson and dunk your ass into the water and then bring you back up, for those that might not actually be able to swim. Historically, this is a thing. There are dippers at resorts in the Regency era. Fascinating read.
Are you offering?
I mean, Raleigh's taken care of. Anyone else?
No, thank you.
Well, if it's just
you
standing
may
about and dipping someone in the water, I can assist with that.
No. The resort actually hires official dippers for the resort. It's a wonderful benefit, really. Do you swim, Mr. Wilmot?
I do not.
All right, then you will require a dipper.
Nope.
Countess?
I'm fine, thank you. I learned at a young age.
Wonderful. Mr. Shelton?
It's been a while, but I should manage.
All right. So really just the one. All right, wonderful.
No, feet firmly in the sand.
Yes, just the one. Thank you.
Maybe two. He's a rather large lad.
Two to be
Riley,
safe. To be safe. So you see two rather just very strong, one almost motherly, one almost grandfatherly individuals that are dressed in, like, it seems to be like thicker bathing attire. But they also have these very comical looking almost, they look like spectacles, but they're much thicker, like a goggle almost. The pictures are hilarious. You guys really have to look this stuff up. All right, who knew the dip? Yes, we're here for a dip.
This one here.
No, you, Annie.
Countess, would you like to go for a dip? She offers her hand.
That sounds lovely.
Lead her into the water.
It'll be this one. Give him at least a good half hour. Yes, how many? Oh, at least 4 or 5 would do you. 4 or 5 dunks. Rather bracing, right?
Oh, might go
give
for 6.
Oh, he's just starting. Give him 5. You give him 5, and he like hands him a couple extra shillings. All right, love. Well, here we are. Essentially, these 2 rather strong-looking individuals sort of drag you off into the water.
I will dead weight my ass the entire time.
They don't mind. I'm at this point, like once they actually get to the beach itself, and start to step in, they one lifts one end of you, one lifts the other, and yeah, just as if you were, a small child learning to swim, would sort of like lift you up and float you in the water. It is cold. We're almost to June at this point. We're like late May, I would say. It is cold. It is bracing. Yes. Yes, Savvy.
Chat wants Theo to have a mini monologue right now.
The entire time he's
Thanks,
being dipped, he has turned his head and he's staring at the shoreline at Colonel Angus and Riley. And he's giving them the worst death glare.
He looks like he's enjoying himself.
Oh, it's very good for the health. It heals. It's just
The
great
angriest baby. Monologue. Well, shit. I never found time to learn swimming in my youth at the orphanage, and this seems to be, well, for the most part, even though it is very cold, it's okay. I swear if they if they drop me and I drown, I'm coming back to haunt the 2 of them. They will never know rest. I do not know any other Regency swears, but I hope their bacon burns for eternity.
excellent. Well done. Well done. By about your 4th dip, the 2 individuals that are dipping you are like, are you right there, dear? Are you sure you want one more?
No.
Oh, they paid for one more. He looks a little hesitant. I wanted to check in.
I am...
You all right, Dove?
You know what? For their benefit, just dunk me already.
Oh, you are a brave one. All right. And you get your 5th and final dip. It's basically like if you, again, were a young child and you had an evil older sibling who would just like dunk you into the water and then pick you back up. It's like that, just 5 times. And you've paid them to do this for you. And they'll bring you back. Like, they'll let you do a little bit of a float if you want to.
Nope.
Otherwise, they'll bring you back to the shore.
Thank you.
Of course, so let us know. Take care. All right, and they sort of take off.
Sits down in the sand and pouts.
So Colonel Angus has had so they literally sort of back the swimming machine up and sort of back it directly into the water. Did anyone want to ride it in, or did you want to go meet with it?
I don't understand what it's for.
It's essentially a wooden carriage with windows where you may stay put if you do not swim, and they'll just literally like sort of it's like the Regency equivalent of a large floaty. They'll just sort of like back you in.
Right.
Some folks might go nude sea bathing but stay within their swimming machine. Some people might take their clothing off and leave it in the swimming machine and then just get under so that they cannot be seen, but they might nude sea bathe. The possibilities are endless, friends. I leave the things here for you, and you do whatever you'd like with them.
I think Grover's riding in it, still in his swimsuit though.
Would the
Yeah.
Countess want to?
I think she's amenable to sort of whatever happens, but is sort of following a lead right now. So
I think that the Colonel will just kind of walk into the water and like realize how cold it is, but still tough it out. But if she looks uncomfortable, then she would offer like, "Oh, we could go into the swimming machine if you'd rather not have the breeze."
that sounds nice. It's quite cold.
Yes. I will help her into the swimming machine. Oh, Mr. Shelton.
Oh, hello, ladies. Thought you were just going straight in, but this is most enjoyable as well.
It is quite cold.
Yes, I don't think it's much better in here, but at least there is no breeze.
Indeed.
How did you find the ride up? Looks around. Is anyone else in the swimming machine or near the swimming machine?
Just the Countess, it appears. In fact, if I may throw in a token here, I would like for the Colonel to have maybe seen like a secret hand motion from the other Colonel or something, like and he'll take his cue and he'll tell Raleigh like, I'll return, and he'll sort of come and make an excuse to take the Countess away. Are you all amenable to that?
Certainly.
Sure.
Okay. We'll say Colonel. You can take that one.
Okay.
So yes, George will say, I'll be right with you to Raleigh, and then sort of moseys on over to the swimming machine. Knocks. Your Honor, may I borrow you for a moment? I need your expert opinion on some starfish I believe I just found.
Of course, Colonel.
Lovely.
I will take my leave.
Annie? Mr.
Colonel?
Shelton
I know.
sort of stares at Mr. Shelton for a long moment and then escorts
Sir?
the Countess.
Oh dear. I hope he hasn't been too troublesome.
No, he did warn me off, but no one seems to believe that that I have recovered from my gaffe at Mr. Addison's event.
Well, your paintings that you delivered, and you were very convincing in your apology.
To you, but I suppose the others have yet to catch wind of that.
Yes, well, I don't like to make my business known to others. Speaking of, I was contacted by another artist. Never heard of him before, Mr. Cockburn?
Oh, that bastard. Oh, sorry, he and I have had some run-ins in the past, I suppose. It has often come down to he and I for who, gets the final sale for a certain art piece, or there has been far more butting of heads between the two of us than you might expect between artists. I'm certainly the far more skilled one, but he does have a certain charisma to him that can lend him an edge when it comes to the business aspect of artistry.
Well, I believe I should still meet with him, so I don't seem as if I'm showing favoritism. But I will take your thoughts into consideration on the matter.
Yes, I had previously written to him if he felt so inclined, to come to Tantrum to seek patronage from Raleigh, though he seems to have ignored that advice, and given Mr. Addison's recent uh, behaviors, I do not think I wish to inflict Mr. Cockburn upon him anymore.
All right. No, we don't need to speak of this anymore. Were you going to continue wearing your swimsuit?
Oh, is that a thing people do?
Oh, of course. Once you're in the swimming machine, if you'd like to, get some fresh air on your body, it's completely acceptable.
Oh, well, then certainly by all means, and just straight away.
Lovely.
Is this something that the ladies also do?
They can. Is that something that you think is required?
Well, as you were just saying, the fresh air does do a body good. Not that your body needs any more good.
You are a flatterer, Mrs. Shelton. And she starts undoing her, takes off her outfit. And then we go dipping in the pond.
Was that no? Oh, you literally go swimming. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Just checking. So
Bit of column A, bit of column B. It's fine.
So you go swimming. Aurora is sort of set up on a sort of a towel of sorts, like a tapestry, I suppose, on the rocky sands, with her very wide parasol. And she's just sort of sitting around in the sun. Sure, why not? Amelia is sort of walking up and down the shore, collecting shells, but very, every so often, like, longingly looking back at the carriages and her wonderful Sylvia, her horse. What are the rest of y'all doing?
Theo is miserably sitting in the sand.
You look terrible.
I am not a fish. I do not belong in the water, yet here I am, thoroughly drenched.
You could have told me that before I paid 10 bloody shillings to have you dipped a couple times.
You would not let me have a word in edgewise.
What are you talking about? I was right there and you said nothing.
Just 3 slow blinks.
All right, well, sit there. Be all right. Or I don't know. I sent the Countess off to look for starfish. Perhaps you could accompany her.
Theo will reach into his pocket, and there's a silver tin, and he'll throw it over to the Colonel. I have a bit of a, hobby when it comes to plants, and if you find yourself with a sunburn or two, spread that on it.
Thanks.
I also hear it makes a good lubricant.
He is without words. He does not know what to say. You have shut up, Mr. Angus. Colonel Angus.
Listen, Theo hasn't had friends, and this is the first time he gets to be rowdy with people. Let him be rowdy with people.
You do you, Theo. Did Raleigh witness that one? That exchange?
I will spend a token for yes, please.
Sure.
Take a token!
Because I imagine when he was with the Countess, Raleigh went to like speak with Aurora or something, so wasn't a part of that at all.
Aurora seems a little distant. She's enjoying herself, but she's not particularly in a mood. Maybe she's tired.
Maybe before the he witnesses that exchange when he's talking to her, he just says, "You all right?"
Oh, I'm fine, darling. Just enjoying the fresh air.
You're awfully quiet. I don't think I've ever seen you speak so little in company before.
What, am I supposed to be boisterous all the time? My God, what a
Yes.
ball.
No, you're supposed to be boisterous all the time. That's why I bring
Raleigh.
you places.
Well, sometimes it's nice to even surprise you. How about that?
All right. You know, you're my dear friend. If there's something that's concerning you,
No, not at all.
I don't believe you.
Good, because I'm lying. Now go away. You're shading the sun.
All right then. Turns back and sees the exchange and just cocks an eyebrow at the Colonel and Theo.
Oh.
Well then.
I think I rather like your cousin.
It's a good lad. So a dip then.
Absolutely. He'll sort of go behind the swimming machine as he knows it is technically occupied. And I mean, there's a window, but he doesn't care. He'll, for propriety's sake, go behind it, and y'all just see him strip down, and then he'll walk into the water.
Raleigh does the same.
Theo will go find the Countess.
She's just beach combing. Like when you take your mom to the beach and she just like casually is walking down, like picking up seashells. I say your mom, that's my mom, I don't know.
Gets a few feet away from her, clears his throat to not startle her. Search going well, I take?
Fine. Still haven't found a starfish, but what do you expect?
Suppose if you have time now, we can do that talk.
Okay. Talk to me.
Well, I tried to put it best in words in the letter I sent. I really can't say or do anything to make you believe me that there is literally nothing between myself and Sophia Cooper, but I can try to make you believe me. I'm not lying.
Well, the letter was most persuasive, as was the carriage ride over.
The Colonel is not going to appreciate that a good majority of our stationery is gone, but I ran out. Drafting. The second letter you sent to me, though, about my cousin.
Yes.
What's going on between you and him?
I have some concerns. His name was mentioned to me by a most unsavory person. You know, Madame Dupont.
Fortune teller.
The fortune teller, the unsavory character, and the blackmailer.
Did she tell him she was being blackmailed? Ah.
She mentioned his name to me last time we spoke. When I confronted him, he obviously and most convincingly denied it, but based on all our history, I have concerns.
I can't deny that he has been a prick in the past.
A kind word.
I feel like he is, though, changing. He's been kinder, it's been nicer. We had a boys' night.
Oh?
He was nothing but amicable and sporting. He bet on me in a fight. Thought I would lose, though. I'm sorry. I really do think that he did want to help. If for the money, at least, it's not against us. But I received a letter from him saying that he rescinded his support. I didn't respond to it yet. There were some words about you that I do not care to say in polite company.
I can imagine. That he would do such a thing in defense of his own reputation.
I'll talk to him. I don't think I can garner the trust or approval of your father if I do not have a title. What do you think I should do?
What a question.
I did say I wanted to confide in you.
Yes. I don't trust Raleigh as far as I can throw him. But we need him. Speak to him about his letter, hear his concerns, tell me what they are, and if I find that we can smooth them over without much trouble, I will attempt to do so.
I'd like to monologue.
Are you using a monologue token on yourself?
Yeah.
It's never been done! No, please, by all means.
Trap card.
Spend your monologue token on yourself, RJ. Yeah.
This is rather monologue to Bori. Didn't quite get it, but
Boo.
Close enough. Close enough, I enjoyed it. Do it.
Again, I am at an impasse. People in my life like to make things hard. It didn't have to be this way. But life is full of unexpected things. I didn't say I wanted to be more flexible in that. I don't know how I'm going to get those two to reconcile. But there is good in both of them, regardless if the others couldn't see it. Soldier on, I guess. If I was going to get promoted to messenger boy, I should have asked for a raise. There we go.
I loved it.
When we get back to town, I'll talk with him. But for now, would you care for a stroll?
Yes. Very much.
We'll offer his arm to her.
She'll take it.
As the secret lovers stroll on the beach and the not so secret ones swim naked in the ocean, we'll we'll go ahead and end there for the evening, but we'll continue with the novel chapter. We have not finished. We shall continue. And heck, we'll do visitations in Brighton if we need to for the next one. Why the hell not?
We all will know what's going to happen in visitations in Brighton. In solo rooms.
What? No.
I
Amelia's
never,
going
RJ.
to everybody's room and talk about horses.
Naturally.
Have you heard about my horse Sylvia?
Oh, thank you all so much. This was delightful on all accounts. I just brain farted. Wow, it's 10 o'clock. We will be back with this show again in 2 weeks. Come on back and see us then. We have so much fun going on for that. That's going to be, what, that would be the 24th, I believe, if I'm counting, if I'm mathing correctly. So come check that out. The next time you will see things on this channel will be tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern for Neon Souls again. Come check that out. The Sprawl, Cyberpunk. I'm a lot more colorful for that one. I'll just say that. And lots of other friends are there too. If you haven't already, check out the new website, ggk.crd.co. Is that correct? I did it right! I did it right! Yeah! Check out the wiki, please. Alex did lots of hard work on it. Please fill it into your heart's content. And please check out all the other wonderful things happening on this channel and among all of these beautiful, wonderful, fantastical people here. They do lots of cool stuff on the internet. You should go check it out. Until next time, is there anything else last minute for anyone? Anyone want to plug? Anyone want to say anything? Thank you for the dab.
I'll plug my stream tomorrow that happens before Neon Souls, so you can watch
Done.
both of them. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/encounter roleplay. I'm running Apocalypse World, and it's real rowdy, so get on it.
You have 2 games to watch tomorrow. That's your homework. All right, friends. Well, we'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks. And until then, good game and good night, Internet.